Hi friends, I'm Alana and welcome to the most awkward setup I think I've ever had to wrangle on my channel. But I don't have a desk, and this box is large, so we have to make it work. I will be moving later in the video to something that looks much nicer, but, okay, this is insane. This whole thing is crazy. It's so cool. For any of you who didn't catch it, I tweeted about it once and have been posting about it on Instagram a lot. Last week, I got sent this box, crate, I don't know what you want to call it, from PlayStation and Kojima Productions. It came padlocked. The only other things I got were this clue, which says Amelie where's the answer and has 3 dots, one of which is yellow, the second one. And then this letter, which does a much better job of explaining stuff. Let me skim this for you. So it's about how people built walls and we need to make connections again, which is obviously a lot of the themes of Death Stranding. And then it says, which is why, to help us celebrate the launch of the game, we're asking you to create new bonds with Jacksepticeye, Runfunch, and Janina. You have all received the same package, and it can only be opened if you work together. Each of you have one piece of the puzzle. These clues mean little by themselves, but when connected together as strands, you will find you have everything you need to open the case. We encourage you to also ask for the help of your friends and followers. The more people come together, the sooner you'll see what's inside. That's all I got. Now, I didn't know that I was going to be getting this thing. I did know that it would arrive locked, and I did know I would have to work with those people, but that's it. I didn't know what my clue would look like. I didn't know if we would have the same kind of codes. I knew very little, and I think even if they tried to explain it to me, I couldn't quite fathom what was going to happen. So this story very much begins with getting this crate, it's padlocked, getting a clue that means absolutely nothing by itself, and having no idea how to open it. The part of the campaign that was sponsored by PlayStation was posting about this on Instagram and in Instagram stories. But before we get into the details and how we figured out how to open it and what's inside, because we have done all that, I did want to say they were so chill and relaxed about if we figured it out early. So if we would figure it out a few days before they expected us to, which on day one, they were like, we think we're all going to figure this out faster than we thought because the community was sleuthing hard. We didn't have to stretch it. We didn't have a time frame. But of course, to all the comments I got, they were like, why didn't you just use a sledgehammer or bolt cutters, or why don't you just guess combinations that seem right until you get it? I didn't want to do that to ruin the fun. But I actually, at one point, was live streaming. I started the stream by saying, no matter what happens, I'm not going to open this case on stream. I was going over clues and asking the chat for help. But then people were suggesting the same code over and over and over again, which did end up being right. And I was like, I'm positive it's not that. Based on like what I figured out so far, there's no way it's that. And I got maybe like halfway through putting it in awkwardly because it was facing like away from me. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to do any of this anyway without asking the others, because it was such a cool experience. So basically, like, I wasn't willing to just brute force the numbers until I figured it out. I wanted it to be legit. And when the community was getting pretty close to figuring out what the code was, my stance was, you guys are guessing this number. If you can give me a reason why this person's code leads to this number and this person's code leads to this number, then I will put it in, and that's basically what happened. For reference, the padlock is 4 numbers. It says PlayStation on it. It's a nice padlock, actually. And we didn't even know if we would all have the same codes, but as soon as I saw we had 4 clues, and that they had something that implied that it would probably be 1 number, it seemed obvious that we would have the same clues. Okay, new location, so I can pull some stuff up on my PC to show you guys how this whole thing came together and how we figured out what the code actually was. So, it was my job to figure out my code, which makes sense. I knew Amelie where's the answer made this one of the easier ones. I think that me and Ron probably had the easiest codes. So it says Amelie where's the answer, and it is 3 and then 4. My head first went to red dress, realized dress is too many characters. Red silk, red gown. It doesn't even really matter what the second phrase actually is because no matter what, it's red, so it's R-E-D, right? But then I remembered Amelie wears a necklace that someone figured out some cool information about last year. I think Polygon wrote something about it. Death Stranding sleuth decodes hidden musical message in E3 trailer. So Amelie's necklace, that's what it looks like up close, obviously, resembles an ancient method of communication recording known as quipu. Kojima tweeted about quipu, so as far as I'm concerned, he knows what it is, and her necklace is intentionally that. And it gets better. So this is the original necklace, and then someone translated it into the code. I did not do any of this, obviously. The code ends up being a melody to a song called Give Me an Answer by the Icelandic band Low Raw, who Kojima seems to be pretty obsessed with. So basically it turned out that if mine wasn't going to be red something, it was going to be Low Raw, because Low Raw also fits, making mine either E or O. So the PlayStation Instagram account, on the morning that we were set to post our clues publicly, they posted this, which was a cipher. We kind of knew something like this would happen. We had no idea what it was going to be or what it was going to look like. And wow. I guess people unjumbled these letters to figure out what these words were. So this one's rebuild, this one is porter, that one is obviously strand, and then this translated to help us connect. If this is help us connect, then it meant that 5, which would be, you know, H-E-L-P, 5 equals E, which would mean that if this was red, that there would be E. No, it would be 5. If that's red, it would be E equals 5. If it is low raw, it was going to be 0. So my code, still don't know exactly, is either 0 or 5. So Janina's didn't have any circles, which made her clue a little bit more complicated initially. But thinking about it literally and trying not to be like, well, why do ours have circles and hers doesn't? What does it mean? Just trying to isolate hers. I figured, I think this one was with the help of the stream, that it would be E3. Initially, I thought 0, meaning you started from 0. Kojima tweeted about starting from nothing. He's said that before where it comes to Kojima Productions, so I think that's why Janina thinks hers is 0. So there was a while where I was like positive that hers was going to be 3 for E3, because E3 is E. It's 3 E's. E3. That's when the game was revealed. That's when we learnt about Death Stranding. Realistically, if you look at the cipher, again, E is 5. So instead of it being about there being 3 E's, it is just E 3 times, it's 5. So that would make hers and mine interchangeable. 0 and 5 could be either of us. It ultimately just meant there was a variation of which number was placed in which order when it came to actually solving the clue. But so then Ron's might have been the easiest. I actually explained this here. So his code is easy to figure out. Basically, there was a trailer posted on 5/29/2019, and if you go to 4/17, what you see is the handprints of the BTs. Let me pull that up. You can see that I already searched this, and I have already looked at this video. We know that the handprints of BTs, that had been announced already, and that stands for Beached Things, which fits perfectly in Ron's. BEACHEDTHINGS. Beached Things. And you can see my comment here, if I pull this over. According to the cipher, it meant his was 2. You can see that I wasn't sure about this. I did not even... I would so refuse to believe that Janita's was 0. I really thought it was 3. I actually got screwed up on this. When I was streaming, people kept telling me try 2015, because we had figured out mine was probably going to be 5 or 0. We figured out Janina's was probably going to be 3, 5, or 0, I guess. But I was like, it has to be in this order. We knew that Ron's was going to be 2, so I was just like, there's no way. It can't be 2015, because that would be 2, 0, 1, 5. I was just so certain that that didn't make sense, because I was just positive for whatever reason that this would be the order that the codes was in, which obviously was wrong. So we figured those out. Jax was lost. And at the point where I was confident that we had actually figured out these 3 close enough that we would be able to get those codes unlocked, and people were telling me it was 2015, and I dropped the notion this had to be in order and considered 2015, but I wasn't willing to put the code in or even tell the others. We had a full group thread, like I mentioned, and I was pretty far ahead of them because I was reading all the Reddit threads. I had done a live stream to chat to everyone. I was reading a lot of comments. I think I was like going hard on this. I didn't want to give them any clues. I wanted them to figure it out. But to people who were like, try 2015, just try it. You got halfway there, just finish it off. I said, if you can give me a reason why you think that Jax is 1, because we had 2, 0, and 5 made up elsewhere, then I'll give it a shot. Jax was really tough. We did not figure it out. The community 100% figured this one out. That was his. Just super long. One of these is yellow. I think you just can't see it in this photo, but I had no idea where to start. Him having the Kojima Productions logo does make it different, but I legit was like, I don't know what that would be. I thought that it was going to be something on the website, so I was looking through the Kojima Productions website. There was a poem at the start of one trailer. We were like, maybe it's that, but nothing fit. And again, still don't know if these theories are correct, but what the internet ended up assuming was that if you search Kojima Productions and you find a Ludens, flip up toggle to open case cover fits, which is so weird. That's such a hard thing for us to figure out how to connect. So if it is indeed correct that it is flip up toggle to open case cover, it actually made his P, I believe. The P here would be help, and that would make it 1, which gives us, in this order, 1, 0, or 5, 2, 5, or 0. And then once we had that, which again, we really weren't sure on Sean's / Jack's, we really were like, it's probably this. This is what everyone thinks it is. There was a while where people kept saying 2010. I kept thinking 2013 in any given order. But by that point, it was sort of it's probably this. Let's give it a shot. So that's basically how we figured it out. A lot of that was the help of the internet. So yeah, then we put in our codes and turns out it worked. Okay, so once we figured it all out, it's open time. When I opened it, I think I was the last to open it actually. I wasn't home and we'd been DMing and been like, okay, we figured it out. We're going to open it. We're going to do it. You guys ready? Let's do it. But I decided to not use social media for the rest of the day until I was home to open mine because I didn't want to have it spoiled for me. So I was just avoiding looking at Instagram at all because I knew the other people involved were posting on their stories or their social media what was in it. So you'll understand how freaking cool I thought it was when I opened it. It's also, these took me a really long time to figure out. There's these little screw things that do that. I've never seen those before. I was very confused. Okay, you guys ready for how cool this is? The second you open this thing up, you can see the lights on. It freaking lights up. I don't know why I'm so impressed by that. So I can explain all this stuff to you. This says Death Stranding. PlayStation and Kojima Productions invite you to explore a completely new type of action game, Death Stranding. This here, so these things, of which I have 6, are, I believe they're called Cupids, and they all have different formulas on them. And Sam, who is the main character of Death Stranding, wears them around his neck. These are basically things that are used to connect the strands, I want to say. And then we have some Sony Bluetooth headsets, wireless, and a USB, which I actually haven't checked what's on it yet. Then we have a PS4 controller, a DualShock, that is designed to look like the tank that the BBs kind of rest in. It's obviously translucent yellow. The touchpad has Death Stranding engraved on it, but super cool. I am so glad to have this. And of course, PlayStation Pro. It's beautiful. It says Death Stranding on the front here. It has hands from the BTs, and I particularly love, there's a little map of the Earth in the negative space down here. Shout out to Australia. This is a thing that I haven't seen before. What is this? Oh. This is, this is my first time actually lifting this out of the box. This is a necklace to put those on. That's cool. Also doubles as a different display case for the Cupids, so that's super cool. Also, underneath that, we have more headphones, always come in handy, and all the power cables for both the box and for the PS4. So, again, seriously, this is one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of. Genuinely unforgettable experience. I'm so glad to have been a part of it. All of this is amazing, obviously. I'm going to keep this case. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but I'm going to keep it. But I feel like I will cherish the fact that I got to, I don't know, in some way feel like a part of the launch of Death Stranding forever. To everyone who helped us and shared the excitement, thank you. It was so cool. Obviously, huge thanks to PlayStation. This video is not sponsored, so I don't have to disclose that technically, but of course, this whole thing was as part of an Instagram promotion. And thank you to Kojima for making this crazy creative thing that actually genuinely did bring people together. It was really cool. Alright, you guys, sorry this video is kind of in shambles. I did the best with the terrible setup that I have at home here. I'm Alana, I will see you guys next time. Bye bye!